Hi, it's Sandy, and today I'm going to be comparing some book covers. Yes, my lovely friend Vicky has helped me out massively by sending me some US and some UK editions of book covers, and I'm going to be comparing them and deciding on which one I think is the better one. And by better, I mean completely objectively or subjectively or completely biasedly, like which one I prefer. I don't mean better as in like I am the decider of like what is better overall, just like to me, what is better to me. I think we all get that. Like I'm not the be all and end all. If you're here thinking that I think I'm the be all and end all, please just leave because like I can't. Anyway, yeah, so this is just for fun. I'm gonna look at some covers and see which I prefer, the UK or the US covers. Now, I will say, I am generally quite biased towards UK covers. And I've had some thought, like I love watching these videos where people compare these, like the two different styles. And I've noticed over the years as I've been watching these videos that UK creators tend to favour the UK editions and US creators tend to favour the US editions, even when they don't know the book and they don't know which edition is which. Just by chance, they tend to favour the one styled for their area. I don't know if that's something to do with the internal psyche of the area, like, I don't know if it's something to do with, like, how we are, but yeah, I also find that myself, generally speaking, I will prefer the UK editions of books to the US editions. It's not often that I prefer the UK editions, the US editions, sorry, over the UK editions. So that's what I'm expecting to find in this. But yeah, let's have a look. Now, Vicky has sent me 32 files. So 16, is that right? 16 books. I can't remember exactly what's on them, like exactly which books. I do know that some books I have read, some books I have not, some books I have heard of but not read, and some books I have never heard of in my life. So some of them I don't know which is the US and which is the UK, some I do know, so we're just going to have a look at them and play it by ear. So yeah, if you enjoy this, then do let me know, and let me know if you want me to do more videos like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scooch over. Okay, my carpet and wheeled seats do not mix very well. Okay, I'm going to scooch over here. I decided to do it this way and have both over here because I'll end up just being too far over and not have it equally on either side, and editing me will really get on. Will really not like me. So I will just stay over here and have editing me put both of them over here somehow. Now I've got them over here. Obviously you will see them over here on the screen. I've got them on my computer over there, so I will be looking over here. First off, we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. Now I do actually have Beach Read. You can't see it because there's a photo over it, but I do actually have Beach Read by Emily Henry. And I have to say, it is, now, this is the thing, right? Sorry, I went off screen there. Why is this so difficult? This is stupid. Overall, I think I prefer the UK edition. Mostly because I hate the font they've used for the title. It just looks messy. It looks like if you cut, you know, if like, I don't know if you've ever done this in school, but like if you like colour something in with your pencil and then use the pencil eraser on the back to like then write in the pencil, that's what it looks like. It looks messy and I don't like it. I don't like that messy look. I like the UK covers, nice, clean lines on the title. And I like the block colours. Had they used a better font, I probably would have preferred Like, I like the style, I like the drawn people, and like, I don't mind the New York Times bestseller and the, like, that I don't mind, and a novel bit I really like. I like the people, but I think if I was seeing it in a shop, I would reach more for the UK cover than I would for the US cover. And having read the book, I feel like the UK cover just does a better job, in my mind, of giving the story's vibe than the US cover does. Next is Dial A for Aunties, and I also have read this, so I am pretty sure the pink one is the UK cover and the green, kind of yellowy green one is the US cover. I might be wrong, but again, I like the UK cover more. Again, having read the book, I just feel like the UK cover gives it more of the vibe of the book. I really hope this is I might be wrong. Like, I feel like I should stop saying one's the UK, one's the US. I don't know which one's which. I can't be 100% sure which one's which at this point, because I don't actually know. But yeah, so the pink cover, I prefer the pink cover. I just feel like, given, like, it's got that comic booky style, and Dial A for Aunties is a bit spoofy. It's a bit parody-ish, and that gives me that sort of vibe. Dial A for Aunties in the green cover feels like it's going to be a different kind of book. Like, I would be expecting more of like a regular sort of romance, not the kind of slapstick rom-com that it is. It's not even really a rom-com. It's more of like just a slapstick style funny book, you know? So yeah, I think I prefer the pink, and obviously I just love pink in general, so yeah, I just prefer the pink one. Next up is Gallant by V.E. Schwab, or Gallant as some people call it. I don't know why people would say it like that. I'm pretty sure I would say Gallant. It might just be an accent thing. Again, I'm pretty sure I know which one is I'm pretty sure the one with the sort of orb idea is the US cover, and the more sort of squared off one is the UK cover, because I have it, and that's the one I've got. And again, I much prefer the UK cover. I'm sorry. I think, let's just look at the cover. So, what I think is the UK cover, so the one with the house, the house and the house and the roses, and then down into like almost like the mushrooms at the bottom. It has this beautiful subversion of the house, and it is a mirror image, and it gives off this very cold feeling, and I feel like that's what you get, this cold and crumbly and haunted feeling, and I feel like that's what you get with the book. The flowers, the roses on the edge, give off this slight hopeful feeling, and then as it goes down into the mushrooms and into the decay at the bottom, and as it starts to sort of go and it touches the house, to me that indicates this, it's almost sinister feeling, and I just feel like that tells the story a lot better. Also, I really like the font. It's the same font that is used for the rest of the editions that I have. The font that is used for Gallant and for V. Schwab's name. All of my editions basically match. It's the same font is used across the board, so I like that, obviously. And I just think it's a very beautiful font. Yeah, so I like that. Moving over to the other one, it's just really, really busy. Like, so with the orb, let's start in the middle again with the orb. So the hands and this sort of orb, it's almost like one of those things where, like, the atom thing, it gives this feeling of movement. It gives this, again, it has the subverted house, and it gives this feeling of action. It gives this feeling of movement, and it gives this feeling of, like, it should be, if I was picking this up, I would expect it to be really fast paced, really action packed, and I would be really disappointed because that's not what Gallant is. To me, Gallant is not a fast paced, action packed book. It is more of the haunted, slow build up. And I just feel like it doesn't reflect the book as much, and there's just so much going on. It's so busy. Like, yeah, it's got the wall, but it doesn't, you don't really realise it's a wall unless you're really looking at it, and then, like, it's just so busy, and I hate the fact that it looks like it should be textured, and it's probably not going to be textured. Like, I hate the parchment look of it, and the font is ugly as hell. I'm sorry, but that font looks like it was made in word art. Like, I know that word art font. I don't like it. I do not like this at all, and when I saw it, I was like, that is so... no, I don't like it, and I'm so sorry, because I know a lot of people really like this version, but I just, if I saw that, I would not buy it. I feel like a horrible person right now. Next up is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. Now, this one is so different. Again, I've read the book, and so I can see where they've gone with both covers. And again, I think I prefer the UK cover. I told you I was going to be biased. Okay? But one, the pink, we love the pink. I love the pink. It's just, I'm biased towards pink. But HMRC, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, this story is so British. It is painfully British. And I feel like the way it's stylized, this statue with the goats and everything, it is so British. Like, you look at that and you're like, that is so British. And I feel like that is, you know, that just represents something that's so British. You know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? Whereas the other one looks a lot more Salem-y. Like, I would expect that to be more of like a Salem witchy type thing, like American witches. And there's a difference between, like, American witchy stuff and, like, on something like the Discovery of Witches, I would say that actually the other cover would be better. But these are British witches. These are Her Majesty's Royal Coven. These are government, like, UK government style. Like, it just, it just, to me, screams American. And for a book like HMRC and the way it's written, like, we are talking about the Spice Girls, we are talking about the government, we are talking about a little village in Yorkshire. This is British. Like, this book is so quintessentially British and such a British experience, and I feel like the other cover just screams American so much that it doesn't work for the story. The elements make so much sense for the story, like with the snakes and the moons and the divining hands, the eye, it all makes so much sense. I understand where the creator was going, like where they were going with it, but I just think it doesn't match the vibes of the book at all. This makes it look very American themed, and it's not. I don't know how else to describe it, but to me it just doesn't capture the heart of the book. For me, anyway. Next up is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. And this one's actually going to surprise you because I'm going to say I prefer the American cover for this one. So as you can see, the American cover is more of a stylized cartoon. Cartoon probably isn't illustrated, like, person on the cover. You see the school in the background with the... I want to say park, but that's not what I mean. Like the grounds and such. And it's got this beautiful handwriting. Even though I said I didn't like another one because it's messy, this looks like proper, like, handwriting style writing, and I just think it's beautiful. The detail on her face and her hair, she just looks so beautiful and so sweet, and like the little nervous like shoulders and her posture and everything about it, I just think it looks beautiful. I love the colour palette on it, the pastels and the pinks and the greens, and you know, we've managed to fit the colours of the bi flag in there and everything. I just think it's stunning, it is beautiful, and I just really, really think that is gorgeous. The UK edition, however, why does it look like we're standing in a puddle of piss? Or worse, like, like I get that it's not yellow because like that would actually look like a puddle of piss, but like the first time I saw that, I was like, why does it look like someone's wet themselves? And you can decide what kind of wet I'm talking about. But genuinely, I was like, why are we standing in a puddle? Why are we standing in a puddle of whatever we're standing in? Like, why? And hilariously, the whole thing with her like being up on her toes, hate it. Absolutely hate it. And there's a panel in Heartstopper that's like that. Love it. Think it's cute as hell. But for this cover, hate it. I think possibly because they're in the puddle. I really hate the puddle. And I get that it's meant to be cute and heart. I hate the puddle. Again, we've got the handwriting thing. I think it's the same. It's not quite the same handwriting. It's similar handwriting, but it's not the same. The handwriting's not the same, but it's similar. Not mad about that. Not mad about the blue. Like, but it's so boring. Like, I know the other ones that I've showed you are you're probably thinking that as well, but I just don't like it. I just don't think it's cute. Like, yeah. So yeah, there goes one where I actually like the American version better. Next up is Loveless by Alice Oseman. And yeah, these are, so the American covers I think are the newer versions of the covers, and I think we're now starting to get access to these in the UK as well. And I specifically, so Loveless as well, I think the UK covers as well are newer versions of the covers, like the purple covers. And I specifically waited to be able to get all of them in this block colour cover. So all of them are like Loveless, I Was Born for the Solitaire, Radio Silence, Nick and Charlie, This Winter. They're all block covers with this handwriting style title and the same style person drawn on the cover. And personally, I really like that. I like the block colour. I like how like shockingly bright it is with this black and white person in the drawn style, with the handwriting and all these hearts. I really, really like that. I like how subtle it is. I don't usually like busy covers, especially when it's, I don't know, like it's funny because it's an inverse of what I just said about the Becky Albertalli covers. Like the other one was boring, but this to me, it's stunning. I really like it. The American covers, the comic style covers, I don't like them. I don't like them. I've got prints of them. I think they look good as prints, but I don't like them as covers. I just think it's too busy, there's too much going on. It doesn't look like a cover. A book cover. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't look like a book cover. There's something too much about it. So yeah, there's just something not all there about it that just makes, again, if I saw it, I wouldn't pick it up. Next is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. It doesn't matter why I say this one is going to upset someone. Probably Lisa, to be fair. Now, so the American cover technically is I think the original indie cover, which has Viv and the character whose name I can never remember. Her name is the only one I can never remember. On the cover, so Viv and her and the cafe in the background, and the UK cover is almost like the blackboard effect cover, and here's where I'm torn, because there's something so special about the original cover, the American cover, because it is the original indie cover that I think Travis designed himself. And it is also the end paper art for the UK cover. And so I would never ever want to take that away, because it is beautiful. It is so quintessential to the story. And that's what I've been saying, like, having these things, the covers, be so essential to the story. Like, you know what you're getting, like, it's so important. But in saying that, I really like the blackboard, and I really like the Bookshops and Bone Dust one to match. Oh, I think I don't know, if you were to twist my arm and make me choose. Do you know what? I actually think I might have to go with the original, with the US cover on this one, because there is something just so special about that cover, about seeing Viv with her cafe in the background. But I really do like the blackboard one as well. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it. And I'm so happy to have those covers. And in the Fairlight editions, it looks so special with the, like, foiling and stuff. But there's just something so that looks like you could just step into the book and step into the cafe. And just, there's something so beautiful about the art. Like, and it does look like again, it still looks like a book though. Like, this is what I'm saying, there's sometimes that it looks too much and it doesn't look like a book cover, but this one, it looks like a book cover. Like, it almost looks like, in the style it's done, it looks like an old book that you could pull. I don't know. I don't think I'm making any sense, but yeah, I'll go with the original US cover. Now, here is one that is very easy and is going to be very quick for me to go with, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This is a book I absolutely adore, which is a strange thing to say because it is about very, very sensitive subjects. But I absolutely despise the US cover. I think it's horrendous. It makes it look like some sort of dark academia. Like it gives me A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Like, that's what it makes me think of. And it's not, like, well, I've not read that, so I can't actually say. But I don't think those two things should be equated. And that's what it gives me, and I don't agree with those things being equated. My Dark Vanessa is so special on its own, and I just do not like, I just really don't like it makes me want to, no, don't like it. I just hate it. I just hate it. With the face and the butterfly, no. Like, I feel like the whole representation is meant to be like, she's a delicate butterfly, and like she's dark, and she's like, I don't know. This feels like more of, like, this cover makes me angry because of the type of book it is, and it makes me feel like this cover perpetuates the abuse that this character went through, and that angers me even more. The UK edition though, the pink with the hair, this feels like something you would see in the 90s. Like, I don't know why, but it screams 90s to me. And like 90s, early 2000s, and because some of this book is set in the early 2000s, that works for me. Like, it gets me into that headspace. It makes me think of the music, of the atmosphere, of how I felt back then. It takes me back just by looking at the cover. Like, these colours, this clash of the red, the pink and that blue just makes me think so much of that time in my life. And that might just be personal to me, but you know, such is life. And I just think that works so well for the book. And it doesn't, I understand it's called My Dark Vanessa, and it makes it seem like there's something, the title gives it that feeling that there's meant to be something wrong with Vanessa, but the whole point is that Vanessa is the victim. And this gives it more of a softness. You know, this gives it, I can't even describe it, but to me, it just feels right. It just feels better for the book, having read it, than this other cover, which just makes me angry. And not angry in the way that, like, the book should make you angry. Like, it makes me angry at whoever looked at that, slapped on the cover, meant, yeah, that'll work. You know? So, yeah, this one's always going to be a really easy one, because that American cover just boils my piss. Okay, next is 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I am 80% sure I know which one's which. I think the more realistic looking one is the American cover, and the more fairy tale-y looking one, the more like floaty, pinky one, is the UK cover. I am going to say I have to go with the one I think is the UK cover, like the pink floaty one. I've not read this. I kind of know what it's about. So I can't tell you from that perspective. I know it's about like this girl, and she is told that, so her brothers are turned into cranes, and she's told that if she speaks, one of her brothers, every time she speaks, one of her brothers will be killed or something like that. There's definitely more to it than that, but that's all I'm aware of, because I don't know much about this book at all. It is based in Eastern mythology. I could not tell you which, be it Chinese, Japanese, Korean. I am genuinely unsure. I just know that it is some kind of Eastern mythology. However, the reason I'm saying I prefer the sort of pastel-y one is just beautiful, objectively. It's beautiful, and the little origami crane, so cute. But also the other one, she's looking at me. It's given Uncanny Valley, and I don't like it. I don't like it. She's staring at me, and I don't like it. Like, I don't know if you know what the Uncanny Valley is, but there's this graph that was created about how realistic something is and how comfortable we are with it. And there's this dip at one point where something looks realistic enough, but not quite realistic enough, and it makes us feel deeply uncomfortable. And that is called the Uncanny Valley. And this is giving me Uncanny Valley vibes. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable to look at, because she looks too realistic, but not quite realistic enough, and I've just seen the crane's eyes looking at me as well, and I don't like it. I don't like being stared at like that. I don't appreciate it. So unfortunately, because of that, I'm gonna have to go with the pastel one. And I'm gonna move on. Next up is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This is possibly my favourite Beth O'Leary book. And oh, this one's hard. This one's hard. I actually really like both of these, and I feel like they both tell a very good story for the book. So on the UK side, we've got the sort of green, minty green, mini green, bluey green sort of colour, with the bed, and you can see, if you look at it, the bed's kind of, you've got one side where it's got the plant and the cup and the book, and the other side's pretty bare, to give that representation of like the two sides. And then this other side, the other book, sorry, the US edition, you've got obviously it's split down the middle with the title, and then you've got our female main character and male main character on either side. And it's in this beautiful sort of watercolour style art. And I think that's beautiful. I really do like it. But it doesn't really show the story as well, I don't think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for the UK one. I just feel like it. I just think it shows the story better, the UK edition, with this whole like dichotomy of the two. Like it's the one bed, and they've got like they're sharing it, whereas the other one makes it look like they're in two different places. Like there's a door between them. I don't know. I think, but they're both beautiful. Like I would not be mad about the US cover at all because it is absolutely stunning. But I think I just prefer Beth O'Leary's UK covers. Next is The Hating Game by Sally Thornton. I'm not gonna lie to you, I hated this book. I DNF'd this book, and I put it in the sub. Put it in the sub. But looking at the covers, so we've got, I think the US one is the simplified one, and the UK one, if I remember, yes, I've got the UK cover over there. So it is the one with like the weird paneling thing going on, and honestly, both of them are crap. Not crap. I hate the book, so I've got a bias here. Both of them, neither of them are entirely enticing to me. But do you know what? I'm gonna have to give it to the US edition. The UK edition, I like the font for the word hating. I like the whole like, I get what they're doing with the whole sharing the desk, like with the little angry things coming out of their heads thing, but I just think it's very childish looking, which to be fair, actually, considering I hated them because they were so childish, it works for the thing, but I just don't like how it looks like they're in a cupboard. Like, I just don't. Whereas the US cover looks like an adult romance, and they actually have like a good sort of distasteful look on their faces. And I quite like the illustration style. So yeah, we're going to give it to the US edition, sorry. And I also really like the tealy, aquamarine, bluey, greeny, I don't know colours. But I really like the colour as well. Next is The Magicians by Lev Grossman. So again, a book I have now. Now we have a little conundrum here. So the US one is the one with the tree and the lake, and the UK edition is the blue one. Now, I don't know which one I prefer, because both of them kind of tell you a good bit about the book, because the trees and the water are very important to the book when you read it. But also the doors and the hallway, also again I can see, very important to the book. However, my absolute favourite version of this is this edition of the books, because look at it. We've got the moth and the like, there's not even a competition. This is the best edition of this book. This is the best edition. But that's not the ones we have in front of us. But can we also just get a little appreciation for this book? So going back to the ones at hand. I feel like the American cover has to cinch it, simply because it feels more like an adult novel. It feels more like the right kind of vibe for the novel. The UK edition does give more of the magic school feel, but they're not in the magic school for long. They're there for 3 years, but 4 years, 3 years, but it goes so fast that I feel like the tree kind of makes more sense. And if you've read it, I don't know whether or not you would agree, but for me, I feel just like the US edition just makes more sense. Next is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This one is also going to be a really easy one for me. And that is because I really, really much prefer the UK edition to the US edition. I always have and I always will. I really appreciate the US edition, but it's always going to be the UK edition. So the UK edition is the one with the library on, like, the box style library on the front and the cat, and the US edition is the one with all the windows. I just don't like it. I just don't like the windows. I don't like the, like, portal style thing. I get it. I understand, and I think it makes sense to the novel. But I just don't like it, frankly. And I have the UK edition, obviously. There's another UK edition where there's stars on the background of it, on the blue, and that is my favourite edition. I just think it looks absolutely stunning with the stars behind it. But that's not the one we're looking at. I just feel like to me, it just fits so much better, like the idea of this library, and it's so isolated. Like, it does seem like cosmically it is isolated in the middle of nothing. And it just, I can't explain it without spoilers, but it just, to me, fits so much better for the book, and I just think it looks, again, we're back to the whole sometimes less is more type thing. Okay, we're back to one where I don't actually know which one is which. So we have The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I don't know which one's the UK and which one's the US. I've never even heard of this before in my life. But let's have a look at the covers. So we've got one that is styled like an old book with a gold foiling and some ivy on the spine, and one that has this big red blob with some mushrooms, and it's like a cave inside a cave system type thing almost. I don't know, but very different vibes. See, initially I want to say I like the one with the mushrooms because the mushrooms are really cool. But the big sun looking red blob thing is just making me think Brandy Sandy, and it's just been done to death, hasn't it? Honestly, I wouldn't pick up either of these because I don't read fantasy. But I'll be honest, I think maybe if I was... I can't decide. I think I have to go with the blue one with the foiling and the ivy, just because I think it looks kind of cool, and if I was going to pick any of them up, that one would probably intrigue me more. So I don't know if that's the UK or the US edition, but I'm sure Ed and Andy will have put in what each one is. Next is probably going to be the easiest one of the entire video, and that is What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. I've never heard of this before. I've never read it. I don't know which one is which, but it is going to the butterfly moth skull purple cover because the red one is no, don't like it. I don't like it. No, I can't be doing with half decomposed horse. No, I don't mind the skull one with the butterflies or moths or whatever they are. That's fine, but I would not. No, I hate those covers that have half decomposed or dead animals on them. I hate it. I hate anything to do in books with animal abuse or animal death or anything like that. So that is an immediate no for me. It's an immediate no. Like the ones what are the ones? The one that's got like the rabbit and stuff on it. No, they are an immediate no for me as well. Like, so yeah, that's really. I'm just gonna get this off the screen. And finally, we have The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. Again, this is one I have actually read, and so I feel like I have a bit more to say about the covers. Now, this is a story about a sister and brother, the brother who is fighting in the war and goes missing, and the sister decides to go, World War I is, and the sister decides to go and find him because she doesn't think he's dead, and she wants to find him, basically. There's a little bit of a twist to it, and you see it from both of their perspectives, but each perspective is also separated by time, because he goes missing and she doesn't find out until months later. So there's that difference. You see him from the moment he goes missing, you see her catching up afterwards. So it is like there's it's yeah. But I don't want to say I abhor the American cover, but I don't see the relevance of just about anything of that cover whatsoever except the poppy. And the only reason that the poppy has any significance whatsoever is because it is set during World War I, and of course we use poppies during Remembrance Day to remember those who died in World War I and World War II and other wars. So I feel like that is just thrown in there because they're like, crap, we need something to link it to the war. So I feel like that is a throwaway thing and I do not appreciate it. The UK cover, on the other hand, the blue one, so we have what I believe to be Freddie and Laura on the far sides of the cover. And then in the centre of the O in Ghosts, we have a fiddle, and that does play a massive, significant part in the book. And then we just have this ethereal feeling. It gives this feeling of mysticism, of time. It could also have this sort of feeling of a lot of the time Freddie is travelling in the dark so as not to be caught out in the open during times when there's potentially snipers and stuff like that. So you've got like the potential to show the stars, the potential that the white sort of mist is showing the gas. Because World War I they used gas. There's so much that this could represent, and I just feel like not only is it a beautiful cover, but it is just so much more. It's just so much more beautiful. I feel like the other cover, the US cover, is so heavy-handed, and so nobody told them what the book was about. Nobody read that book before they designed that cover, and then they were like, oh, and this, to do with World War I, better stick a poppy in their hands. It's got a ghost in it, let's make it look freaky. Like there's like if I looked at that cover, I would expect it to have something to do with the mediums and the seances that happened after World War I when people were trying to contact their dead. Not anything to do with what it's actually about, which is absolutely just no. Like I don't like it at all. And the fact that it's like a gold foiled cover, like I know like Fourth Wing and that are gold foiled covers, and I have other ones, but I just think it looks tacky. I'm sorry. But yeah, it has to be the UK cover for that one. So that is my US versus UK cover video. I don't know how that went really, how it's going to be received, but yeah, that was quite interesting to see because there are some covers in there that I've never seen before. Other ones that surprised me a little bit, and yeah, I'm not really a cover person. Like, yeah, I like beautiful aesthetic covers and stuff like that, but usually it's more important to me the content of the book, so it was interesting to me to actually sit and look and think about the covers. So let me know, like I said, if you'd like to see more of these videos. I can get some more covers pulled. I have other books that I thought maybe I could have a look at and see what covers, but Vicky did more than I thought, and she pulled more books than I thought, so I didn't bother adding any extras that I'd thought of to look at. So again, thank you so much to Vicky, because she literally did most of the work here. The only work I did was to sit and film it and edit it later on, but she pulled all the covers and gave me all the graphics to do this, so thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to let me know that you were here, put in some kind of ghostly emoji down in the thingy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.